Hello, everybody. My name is Anna Nadolna. I am a member of 40th Polish Polar Expedition to Spitsbergen on Svalbard. I am working here as a meteorologist, and Polish Polar Station is my home since July last year till July this year. So I'm spending here over 1 year. And as for my education, I am a geographer with specialization in hydrology, so we can say that actually I'm a hydrologist. But as you can see, that's not a problem because I'm here a meteorologist. So we will start with some introduction about the station because I'm not sure if everybody are familiar with some basic facts about our station. And later on, we will go to the main part of this lesson, so to asking questions that you can do through your microphones, through your computers, or through Slido.com with this event code B085. So I encourage you to use that to ask questions through that. So let's start. So as maybe you know or you don't know, Polish Polar Station Hornsund is located on Spitsbergen, which is the biggest island of the Svalbard archipelago, which is far beyond the Arctic Circle. Well, how far? Well, if you are, let's say, in Bucharest now, and I'm here in Hornsund, that means that between us is over 3,600 kilometers. So that's quite far to the north. Well, but are we close to the North Pole? Well, we're definitely closer than people in Europe, but still to the North Pole there is another 1,400 kilometers. So we are far in the north, but still there is another quite long distance to the pole itself. When we get a closer look at the Spitsbergen Island, you can see that our station is located in the southern part of the Spitsbergen at Fjord Hornsund. The nearest civilization is around 140 kilometers north from us, in the city of Longyearbyen, which is the capital of Svalbard, and yes, and the main city. Well, let's say on this Svalbard archipelago. The station itself is located within the South Spitsbergen National Park, which is great for us because there is some beautiful places around us, wonderful nature. On the other hand, we are in the middle of nowhere because our station is the only settlement within this national park, which leads to another issue, which is how to get to our station. Well, the only way to get here is by boat, by yacht, or by ship. By helicopter, which is the quickest way, by the way, or by the snowmobile, but that's only possible during the winter time and only in the periods when they are, well, let's say, no conditions. So it's not that easy to get here. As for the station, it was built 60 years ago in 1957. At the beginning, it was used only for some short summer research, which led to the fact that the station became a little bit ruined. But in 1978, a decision was made to restore the station to make it bigger, and since then it is used whole year round. And nowadays it looks like this. It is much more bigger, and it is well equipped. As you can see on the satellite imagery, there is just not this station building, but we've got quite a lot of facilities, a lot of buildings where we store all the equipment, where we have our labs, and Well, that's everything we need to work here for whole year. So comparing to 1960s, where when the station was built, nowadays we are far better equipped. I would say we have everything we need here to stay here whole year or even longer. So that's a big plus. In the winter time, the station is occupied only by 10 people, the expedition crew, which consists of three meteorologists, three environmental observers, a geophysicist, IT expert, conservator, and a mechanic. What I can tell you is that the last three people are the most important ones here, as they give us the electricity, water, and internet, which gives us the opportunity to talk at the moment. So that is pretty important to have these people here. Otherwise, it would be really difficult to stay here whole year. And during our stay, we obviously conduct some research and monitoring in very various fields. So we monitor local earthquakes that are actually happening here. We are measuring the changes of the glaciers. We are doing some oceanographical measurements. We are also monitor earth magnetism or the optics of the atmosphere. Well, something that I do, so meteorology, we are making meteorological observations every day, 24 hours a day, and many, many other fields. Also, you have to keep in mind that the station is a base for researchers all over the world, for scientists that are coming here during especially with spring and summertime to conduct their own research and measurements. So during the summertime, this station is quite crowded, and we can host up to 40 people at one time. So yeah, it can be quite crowded, I would say, during the summertime. Also, the station is involved in many international and scientific cooperation. Here are some examples, but I'm not going to read that. There are many of them that we take part at the station. So you can just to let you know. Okay, and something which probably is far more interesting, so actual photos of us during our work. So here you can see our land surveyor doing his work on the Hess Glacier, which is near our station. That was obviously during the summertime. Also, as you can see, there are some hydrological measurements done here during the spring and summertime when streams are starting to flow. So also with that, sometimes you have to spend whole day in water with ice to make your measurements. So that's also the possibility. And sometimes you spend whole day on the water because you have to go to the end part of the fjord to take some water samples and make some other measurements. So there are also that kind of possibilities. And of course, except for work, we obviously live here, so we have the great opportunity to watch and observe the nature that surrounds us, which gives us the opportunity to meet, for example, the polar bears, which are like the sign of all that. So yes, we meet polar bears. Sometimes they are quite close to the city in this photo. Sometimes not. That's different options. Obviously, you can see the glacier from the very close distance. This is the front of the glacier. And to give you the scale, here are some of my colleagues that came close to this ice wall. So the glacier is pretty big, especially if you look at it from above. This is the photo from our local summit. So you can see that the Hans Glacier is really, really big. And also you can observe how it's calving, so how a really huge blocks of ice are falling into the water, which is quite fascinating thing to watch. But later on, well, the life itself comes, and this ice that was falling from the glacier ends up in usually in our bay, which makes sometimes well, it is problematic sometimes for us because for example, we have to dig through that ice blocks to make a passage for our boats, so that we could get to the ship with our supplies, so with our food for the incoming months. So that's sometimes quite problematic. Of course, during the summertime, you can observe also the fauna and the flora. So you can see how flowers are blooming. And of course, you can also meet some mushrooms, which are huge as you can photo. And what I can tell you is that these mushrooms are actually bigger than the trees of the tundra. So you can imagine the scale of the plants here. And of course, birds. As you may not know, not far from our station, we've got a very big colony of little auks, which are these birds. At the moment, they haven't come yet, but in a few weeks, probably, they will start coming, and it will be quite loud here because there are thousands of them. Of course, reindeers are our local neighbors, and Arctic foxes, which disappeared on a time of the winter, but soon I think we will see them again. And at the end, I wanted to show you the photo of something that you can see only during the autumn or the winter time, so the aurora borealis, which is really great thing to see. And yeah, it's quite amazing to watch it during the long polar nights. Okay, and with this short introduction, I think we can go to the main part of this lesson, so to your questions. So let's start with the question: can you bring a lot of your own stuff to the station? Well, as you know, as I already told you, we are spending here as the expedition crew over 1 year here at the station. So as you can imagine, you can have the need of taking a lot of things with you for a whole year, not only clothes, but a lot of other things that you want to do in your free time that is connected with your hobbies. So can we bring a lot of our own stuff? Yes, we can. Actually, during the packing, we didn't have any limits. Well, maybe the limit was the ship, okay, but I think nobody wanted to take something that big. So, for example, our mechanic took his motorcycle in the pieces, and that was what he was doing during the winter time. He was working on that. Another of my colleagues took his bicycle with him. Somebody took some guitars, some keyboards. Really, a lot of very interesting things in some cases. So we didn't have any limits. Okay, next question that I see is, what sort of studies to choose if you want to become a polar researcher? Well, there are quite many options here, such as I think the base could be the geography, like in my case, or in case of some of other of my colleagues here. So studying geography could be a good start, but to become a polar researcher, you doesn't actually have to be. You don't have to be a scientist because, I already told you, we also need here a mechanic, a conservator. So if you are good in that field, so if you are a good mechanic or a good conservator, you can have some good carpenter skills. You can also come and spend a whole year at the station. Also, there are some other possibilities because during the summertime, as I told you, there is a lot of people here, a lot of things is going on. And the station in that time needs some other people that are essential to keep it going smoothly. So, for example, we need in the summertime we need a cook, so a chef. We need an administrator who is in charge of organizing people that are coming and going during the summertime. So that is also someone that we need, and also we need, for example, some simple technical crew because during the summertime we make the main renovations on the station. Um, so yes, you can study things like geography, like IT studies, or let's say a medicine even, because some stations need also medical doctors as a part of the crew. So there are actually many ways to get here and become a polar researcher. Okay, another question. What was the most dangerous situation at the station during your stay? I think we have two most dangerous situations at the station. One is obviously meeting the polar bear from the close distance, which was my personal experience. I nearly bumped into a polar bear while going on one of my measurements at the bank of our fjord. So I was going there, and well, every time we go out, we take a gun, we take a signal pistol, a radio, and obviously we look around carefully to see if there is a bear somewhere. So I have all that with me, and I saw no signs of a polar bear. So I went to make those water measurements. But as I was approaching the our, let's say, beach, it turned out that there is a polar bear there because there is let's say, a cliff, a small cliff at our bank of the fjord. So you actually cannot see what's there until you are very close to that place. So while I was going there, I couldn't see that the bear was actually sitting there. But when I was really close, like 20 meters or even closer, I saw him. So that was quite unexpected. Fortunately, next to that place, we have a big storage facility where we keep our boats. So I jumped into that building and asked for help. But yeah, that was pretty dangerous situation because you never know what a bear can do. And if a polar bear is attacking, he can be very fast. He can reach the speed up to 40 kilometers per hour. So that's really fast. So he can get you immediately. The other dangerous situation that we had during our stay was when our last bear fall into a crevasse on a glacier. A crevasse, I don't know if you are familiar with that word, is very well. It depends, but sometimes it can be a very deep, well, not a hole, but like a canyon, let's say, but quite quite narrow. So it's a crack on a glacier. So he fell there, but fortunately the crevasse wasn't very deep, and he could come out with no problem, with help of the people that were with him there. So yeah, we have to be careful while doing all the measurements on the glaciers. Do we use renewable energy? Uh, in the station, we are not using that. We're using engines to produce electricity. But some of our measurement equipment that we have in the field are powered by the solar energy. Also, as far as I know, there used to be some attempts to use the wind energy, so to install here some wind turbines, but that just didn't work out due to the quite harsh environmental conditions that are here, especially low temperatures with very strong winds. So, if we're talking about renewable energy, then the answer is rather no, not. Would you like to come back again? Yes, I have to say that I would like to come back again here, as well, this place is quite amazing. That's one thing, and quite, I would say, addictive. Maybe that's because as a geographer, I love the environment and various landscapes, and generally working in the field of natural environment. And well, this is the great place for doing that. You can see some wonderful landscapes. You can stay close to the nature. You can observe it from a really close distance. See all the processes that you've been learning during your studies. So that's a great opportunity for me as a geographer, for me personally. And it is also so peaceful here. There is no rush. You can do a lot of things. Um, yes, well, I would like to come back again. That's for sure.
Quick question. What is your plan for today? What you will be doing in the next, I don't know, couple of hours?
In a couple of hours. Well, except for the like some basic things that you do, so eating and so on. Well, today generally I plan some indoor activities because on the outside today we've got some drifting snow, so it's quite windy, and together with the low temperature because it's around minus 11, I think, today. There are not we don't have good conditions to go outside because the temperature that we will feel will be far below minus 30. So that's not the best conditions to stay outside today. I guess I will use our gym to work a little bit to because we have some opportunities to use the bicycle there or to run. So I will exercise, that's for sure. And I have to also do some work. So I have to write a report and start preparing another lesson for the EDU-ARCTIC, which will be next week, by the way. I'll be talking about how to become a polar researcher. So if you're interested in that, I invite you to the lesson. Um, and what else? I think I will start another book because I have finished one yesterday. And in the evening, probably we will get together with some of my colleagues and watch some movie, which we try to do quite a lot recently.
Another question: what do you miss the most from your country? I mean, another hint I'm giving you, for example, concerts. I don't know, pubs. I don't know what else. Maybe restaurants and things
Okay.
like that. Are you missing something? Because I'm guessing you are.
Well, yes. Well, actually, what I miss the most are my friends. That's definitely the first thing that I would tell you. So I miss my friends and my family, let's say. And the other two things that I miss a lot is swimming pool because I really like swimming. And swimming in fjord here, well, it's quite problematic due to low temperatures. So I can't swim here. And another thing that I miss is or actually are the trees. As I really, that might sound funny, but I really like trees. And well, that is something that you cannot see here. Well, we've got some trees in tundra, but as I showed on a photography, those trees are smaller than those mushrooms, which had around 1 centimeter of height. So yeah, we can't say that's a tree that we know from the Europe. So I think that's the three things that I miss uh, the most. Yes. So if there are no other questions, then I think we will finish for today. And well, I encourage you to visit to take part in our lessons, and especially lessons from here from Hornsund. So I invite you to take part in that. And well, what can I tell you? Tell you. Thank you for your attention, and see you on the other lessons.